Hey all, Hipper here. So, today we are taking out the actual Hipper, and it's been a while since I've played this ship here, but I'll just show you the build that I'm using, which is obviously an agile build with Günther Lütjens here. And it's what I use on pretty much all my Hipper videos, unless, I am specifically trying a different build, I will say that, but otherwise, then this is the build I use. On the ship, I have double rudder on, and then I have precision and improved reload pretty much. So I get 3 sonars, 4 planes, which is kind of useless, and 3 heals as well. 2.1 rudder and 36 knots. So quite agile, not super fast, but agile enough to, an agile build makes sense on this ship, and it's actually really good on this ship here. And about a year ago now, this video here is actually about a year old, I think, something along those lines. About a year ago, this ship was buffed. The reload was, decreased by 1.5 seconds, something like that, and it just gave the ship all new life, at least for me, and I've been playing it a lot since then. But I haven't really played it in the last 3-4 months, something like that, because there's just been so much going on at Legendary tier. At Christmas we had Minotaur and Colbert come out, and they're really awesome cruisers, and I enjoy playing them. And it's meant that I don't really play many tier 7 cruisers anymore. And when I play something other than Legendary, I usually go down to tier 5 and 4 to get something completely different, So Hipper has kind of been neglected lately, and perhaps this weekend I should try to do a few new, more recent videos in it. The same thing with Edinburgh. Used to be my favorite ship, but Minotaur has pretty much taken that honor, more or less. So it's tough being a tier 7 cruiser at the moment, at least in the Hipper household, because I just don't spend so much time on them anymore, to be honest. I've said it in a few videos before, but that I think Legendary tier with the introduction of Minotaur is now in a much better spot. And I find it very enjoyable to play Legendary tier now. It certainly didn't used to be the case. And even more so with Des Moines is also a very good thing to have in the game. And I'm happy we have it. I don't play it that much myself, but it all adds up to, more diversity at Legendary tier and simply more fun at Legendary tier. So for me, it's a total win. But it does mean that tier 7 cruisers are getting neglected a little bit, and that's just too bad. I've been playing these ships for better part of 3 years, and it's nice to actually be able to play cruisers at a tier above 7, and the stakes are higher, and the damage is higher, and the rewards are higher. So I enjoy it, and but like I said, I should probably do a little bit more in tier 7 these days. It's certainly not because there's anything wrong with Hipper, because it's one of my favorite tier 7 cruisers. Hipper and Edinburgh, I think, are the best, or at least the most entertaining to play with agile builds, and that's why they are pretty much my go-tos when I go to tier 7, so to speak, which I don't do that often anymore. So anyway, in this battle here, I am obviously storming in for the A-cap, because there's only one destroyer in the battle, so this is where an agile build comes in very nicely, because although 37.6 knots is not lightning fast, it's faster than most other cruisers, and even some Japanese destroyers, meaning that you'll be able to get in there, take the cap right off the bat, and I didn't have to use my sonar here, but I might have if there was a destroyer in here. And with the new and improved reload on the ship here, it is actually quite a good destroyer hunter, because even though you have AP loaded, it's fairly effective against destroyers, really. You're not going to take out any modules with AP, but the damage is quite substantial. And I'm looking forward to see how the introduction of sap shells goes on the Italian cruisers, because it's going to happen. We know that, the premiums at the very least. We don't know when exactly, but I'm hoping next month, or perhaps the month after that, because that would be very interesting, and opening up a whole new way of playing, and that would probably get me back to play at tier 7 again. Simply because we don't have any premium Italians at legendary tier. And I don't think we will get any for, I mean, foreseeable future. I mean, we don't even have Venezia yet. So it's all good. I'm looking forward to that. And like I said, I think it will bring a whole new well, way to play this game here, and it's gonna be good. So in this battle here, my battleships are taking a long time to decide if they want to push or if they want to hang back. And I don't know if you watched T-Bull's channel today. He had a really good, I think it was today, it could have been the day before. He had a very good video on how to play battleships, where he's playing a tier 5 battleship. And everything he says in that video, I agree with completely. And the number one thing that T-Bull says is, do not reverse right off the bat in your battleship. And I cannot tell you how many battles I've lost because of battleships doing that, because that is just serving yourself up to be burned alive by HE spamming cruisers. And you're too far away to be any sort of threat to anyone really, and all you can do is just take pot shots at ships that are so far away that you are likely to miss. And yep, well anyway, if you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend you go to T-Bull's channel and watch it. I mean, I realize most people these days are, you know, experienced players and they know how to play battleships. So there's probably very little, you know, actual outcome in it for you, but it's a good video, and when I see good videos, I obviously promote them. So the Reds have actually been doing a pretty good job in this battle here. I mean, yes, I got the A cap as pretty much the only cap, but they took control of B, and that Amagi sitting in there with a Prince Eugen, I mean, that's something you don't want to mess with pretty much in whatever ship you're in, because the Eugen has awesome sonar and of course like a huge array of torpedoes, and the Amagi is like actually the battleship I fear the most in cruisers, even more than Yamato or any of the legendaries, because like those 10 guns there and the trajectory of the shells and like the speed of the shells, it just makes it a very, very nasty opponent. It really does. I mean, Kansas is a close secondary, or second, as I'm talking too much about guns here. I know a close second, simply because of the amount of guns and how precise that ship is. It's just nuts. But Amagi is like public enemy number 1 if you're in agile cruisers. And Amagi has been in the game forever, since it launched, and it has always been a nightmare to face. A good player, and that's another thing. If you see an Amagi in the game, chances are whoever's playing it is a really good battleship player, because you have to be a good player to make that ship work. And that's probably one of the reasons that I really fear those ships when I see them, because they tend to be like a real problem. And this Amagi here in this game is no different. I mean, you can see how he took control of the B cap right from the start. There was no hesitation or anything. He's not afraid to push in his battleship. And obviously, he had support from an Eugen as well. And like I said before, that is just something you don't want to mess with. I mean, if I see cruisers push and I'm in a battleship, I usually follow them, because that is the safest place to be. And obviously I don't usually follow them all the way into the cap where I can get like insta-torped by someone YOLOing, but I don't sit back at like 20 kilometers or even 18 or 17 kilometers. If the cruiser pushes, I mean, that's all you want as a battleship, because, well, it's gonna work in your favor pretty much no matter what. So the Amagi is pretty much beached here, so I'm going to use the opportunity to punish him for that mistake. And I'm not really sure why he's beached here. I think he's trying to get, you know, at the broadsides on the blue battleships over there. But obviously he doesn't have any support in here in the cap anymore. And well, he's going to pay dearly for that. Also, my battleships have finally decided to actually push, and you can see they're spreading out nicely. They're not all in one spot, and they're actually, you know, creating sort of a line, a front line here, from the left side of the map towards the right side. And the destroyer is here. I am in the cap backing up the destroyer, so we don't get him taken out. And the battleships are right behind me, so I feel relatively safe here. And this Eugen here is broadside. He really should have been removed a long time ago, but I don't think any of the battleships are in a position to actually hit him, which is again something that T-Bull, you know, takes up in his video there, that I highly recommend you watch. Because if you're not always firing and not always on like, waiting for your reload in a battleship, you're doing something wrong. And that's just the horrible truth. I also don't see many hippers in the game anymore. Usually I see a Mines or a Siegfried or something like that, but not that many hippers. And it's kind of a shame, because the ship is extremely good. I mean, yes, a lot depends on which map you get, and a map like this, Greece, is pretty much a perfect hipper map. Because there's so many areas where, you know, you can ambush people, and if it's a domination map, people will have to push in, and that's exactly what you want in a hipper. And that's also why I pushed in immediately in the beginning, so I get out of the open water before I get spotted. And you can do that with a concealment build, but you can also do that with an agile build, where you're simply fast. Like, you're so fast you get into cover before anyone can spot you. And it works the same way, except once you are in cover, you have the advantage of being more agile than anyone else. And trust me, that works out very, very nicely in the ship here. So the battleships have done an awesome job in this game here by removing all the enemy battleships, meaning there's only cruisers left. And that is Hipper's specialty. Simply because this ship here is so accurate, and when you aim and you shoot, the shells will go where you aim. And if you're aiming at the citadel, you will most likely get a citadel. Overpens are not that much of a problem on this ship, I think. That's why I kind of like it. It's less frustrating than some of the more annoying ships to play. And this Eugen here just reversed. I was a little bit quick on the fire there. But like I said, broadside cruisers, it is the specialty of the ship here. And especially a very nice squishy Kutuzov here that's just sitting still in the middle of nowhere, just waiting to get punished. So 2 citadels on the Eugen, and then we're going to follow up here. And then, of course, I get 4 overpins just after I said that you don't get overpins a lot in this ship. But you don't. You really don't. That was just a, you know, unlucky salvo there. So we'll try again, and he's still broadside. And see if we have better luck this time here. Which, again, gives 4 overpins. So I'm getting a little bit antsy now, so we're going to turn the whole broadside with the quick rudder. And obviously that gives us a very nice, well, bonus there. And I'm getting my first kill here at nearly 110,000 damage. And as you can see, the Cleveland, he is the only one left now. So we're going to take him on. And, I mean, there's not much he can do. I mean, he doesn't have torpedoes, and he's 1 versus 5. So obviously he's going to, not YOLO, but he's going to go in and see if he can at least take another ship out. And it looks like that ship's going to be me. Except I'm an agile cruiser, so I'm more agile than he is. And that means I can get my torps off and cheat him out of the kill. And end up at a nice amount of XP here. And we did well. Lots of caps, 116,000 damage. That's okay, nothing spectacular. But 1,350 XP. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you out there.